My name is Khadija Mehmedova. I am one of the members of SP Azerbaijan board. And our today's session is about the importance of transferable skills, a case study approach. And our presenter is Lala Jafarova. She has graduated from Azerbaijan State Oil and Industry University, and she joined Schlumberger team just upon her graduation. And so she was team leader for well services segment in Azerbaijan. And she will talk about her experience. Now she is design engineer. So please, Lala.
First of all, thanks for your time and thanks for coming. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Lala, and as Khadija said, I'm a former senior field engineer for Schlumberger Cementing team. Currently, I'm doing a freelance as UX and augmented reality designer. And today we're going to talk about transferable skills. But before that, I'd like to do some audience check just to find out how many students and young professionals we have here. And if we have a chat, just let me check. Yes. Can we actually do a poll in the chat? I don't know. We have here, how many? 12 people. Guys, if some of you are young professionals, just please write down in the chat. I need to know just to understand the audience whom I'm talking to. Okay, student. Anybody else? Student. So at least 5 people, students, young professional. Good. Okay, so, and I believe that most of you are from petroleum industry. But I know that petroleum industry is facing hard times now and perspective is a little bit unclear. So for those who maybe in the future you would like to start your own business or work as a freelancer, as I do currently, the reason why I chose the transferable skills definition, not the soft skills, many of you probably know that another name is soft skills, is that you can actually transfer the skills from one industry to another. As you can see on the slide. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So no matter what you're going to do, you're going to work in a startup, you're going to start your own business, maybe do some freelance or start in an industry, petroleum, chemical, construction, whatever. They are applicable for every kind of work. And actually, if you Google transferable skills, you will find at least 20 or maybe even 25, like, I don't know, ability to learn, ability to lesson, teamwork, leadership, that are truly important, and I believe that they are important. But I'm going to talk about a core, which I highly value and which turned out to be crucial during my career in Schlumberger. I personally have more than 3 years of experience in various industries, including construction and petroleum. So let's start. Well, today we're going to talk about critical thinking, structure and prioritization, communication and networking, and sorry, I don't see here. Let me just, yes. Ethics and professional responsibility. The last one is not the least, actually it's the most underestimated among the young professionals and among the students, just because nobody just taught us how to do that and what this is actually. Let's start from critical thinking. Well, the first thing that I'd like you to focus on is constantly asking you questions. Why this happened? It's all about why, not just knowing the process, not just knowing the law or I don't know, maybe some formula, but understand the connection between the things. What is the logic behind the process or decision? Can it be done in a better way? It's more about being an active learner rather than a passive recipient of the information. I will bring an example from my personal experience. When I just started as an engineer, as a trainee, I was doing the programs for senior people. I was helping, and mainly since I had a lot of work to do, I was not asking myself the good and relevant questions. I was just doing the stuff, preparing documentation, trying to help people, and I almost didn't use my ability to reason the things, to explain why this happens, until I was on a client meeting, and one of the drilling engineers just asked me, like, why you use this model and why you decided to use this volume. We could use much less. It would cost us less money. So for me, it was like, oh, I couldn't answer, honestly, and that's a little bit of shame for me. So for you, it's important to understand that whatever you're working at, it's crucial to know why you're doing this, what is going on, and can it be done in a better way, actually. So the next one is the structure and prioritization. You need to understand the clear picture of your company. You need to understand how the system is organized and what is your place and position in this system. For example, I'm an engineer. What are my roles and responsibilities? It should be structurized. That just because that's the way our brain works, actually. Because if you don't see this structure, if you don't see the picture, you will never be able to somehow apply your critical thinking to it, because you will not understand the elements, what are the connections, what you can use, what you cannot use. And another stuff is prioritization. That was my weakest point when I was an engineer, because you have to deal with a lot of work. You have to be responsible for the field crew. You have to, I don't know, taking care about logistics, operations, young people as well, safety. And you always need to keep focus on the things that are really important. And that actually refers not to the work only, but also to your work and life balance. So if you can see here, most of us spend too much time on what is urgent and not enough time on what is important. We're gonna study this soon on a case study. So next one is communication and networking. For me, actually, that was the thing, that was the reason why I found my first job. So I was an intern in Sokar Fugro, and how I found the job is I had the guys, also from SP, from SG, different societies. And I was talking to them, I was explaining that I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for a summer internship, and they just offered me an opportunity to show myself on a special project. They thought that, okay, Lala, I think you have a specific set of skills, you will be useful on this project, you can try. So questions that you need to ask yourself first is, can I explain myself in a short and clear way? So can you actually explain people what you know, what you don't know? How do you understand the picture? I think that's quite obvious. And do you actually work on a broadening of your professional connections? And are people aware of your expertise and potential? Because when you're a student, I see here, how many people already? Okay, 14 people. You are here because you are a part of SP, because you are interested in networking. You understand that it's important for your career growth, for your future jobs, and you also find it interesting, I believe. But when you start as a young professional, you're already, let's say, not a student, and you have a lot of work to do. Sometimes people forget about this, and they think that the only thing that will lead them to success is a huge amount of work done, or I don't know, maybe huge responsibilities taken. But you need to understand that people need to know. You need to know where you want to go, and you need to make sure that you inform the right people about it. And the last one, professional responsibility. Guys, you will never believe how many problems I had with my team and management just because I didn't know that this is important and I didn't follow this. So what you need to do is you need to understand the values of your company. You need to be compliant with your own values and the values or standards of your company. many young professionals know that when something happens, when an incident happens, you have the severity matrix. It goes from light to catastrophic. And believe me, the catastrophic for a company is not losing money. It's about losing the reputation, because the next time client will not come to you. It will come to some other company because you already lost your good name in front of people. So same refers to yourself as professional. You need to always think about, are you honest? Are you actually taking the responsibility? Are you adequate in your approach? Always constantly ask yourself about this. That's important. When I just joined the company, I didn't realize it. I was not too much conscious about that. And that was painful, believe me. So let's talk a little bit about the concept of strengths-based development. You all have it. I'm talking about your strengths and weaknesses. So the skills that I've mentioned before, some of them you are actually strong in, and some of them you are not too much strong, right? These are your blind spots, weak points. So what you need to do is you need to find out your strengths and weaknesses. And then people, you know, we have like two camps. Some people start trying to be the first everywhere. Like you are putting all your resources on strengthening your weaknesses, you are focusing on that. And finally, what you have is you are like an ordinary person. Okay, you had at some point you had your strengths, and here you were your weaknesses. You invested your time, money, and concentration in weaknesses. Okay, strengths are here, weaknesses maybe will come here, maybe will come here, depends. But if you actually invest your time, money, and concentration in building up your strengths until you become an expert, how do you think, what is more demanded? The person who is an expert in a specific manner, who can do it like nobody else, of course, considering that this thing can bring some use to people or industry, or the person who is like ordinary, like he has all skills at this level. For sure, yes, it's good to have your weaknesses strengthened up to a certain acceptable level. So I would highly recommend you to, yes, work on your blind spots, identify them, but always keep in mind things that you are best in. To understand that, I will, after the presentation, I will give you useful links to find out your strengths and weaknesses. But now let's talk a little bit about the case study. So, meet Anna. Anna just started as a trainee in a company, and she's a hard worker. She takes every single task as a personal challenge. Her main objective is to grow as an engineer, but she tries to help as much people as possible in order to build a good reputation and be recognized by the manager. She often stays overnight, comes to office on weekends, sometimes sacrifices her vacation. Anna believes that the more she does, the faster she grows. My question is, will she get a promotion, considering the aforementioned conditions? I'd like to see your answers in the chat, please. So, what do you think? Okay. That's a good point. Yes, correct. Students, this is your future. You will join some company as a trainee someday. Tell me what you think about this. Why pay more if it works well anyway? Okay. I see the answer about why pay more if it works well anyway. I think that's kind of strategy of other companies who don't have a value, let's say, people in the top of their values. Okay. It may also depend on what kind of people she works with. For sure. All depends on people. I totally agree. So, looks like no more answers. Actually, all of you are right, plus minus. So I'd like to share my answer. Yes, sorry. So yes, actually she will get a promotion. So she will pass this trainee step and become an engineer. But as a trainee, her workload is possible without delegation. However, she treats all the tasks as important and crucial, thinking that her resources are limited. She actually doesn't value balance, and this may play a bad joke to her in the future. So this is also Anna, sometime later. And she's already a standalone project engineer. She's responsible for service quality delivered by a field crew. So as you can see, she has some people under her responsibility. And she has to control logistics, operations, planning, job design, preparation, and execution. When issues happen, Anna stays on top of things. She's sacrificing her free time, and she invests resources in solving issues, but has almost no time for brainstorming, preparing to act as fast as possible, jumping from one project to another. Anna believes in multitasking and multi-skilling. She don't see any other option. Again, question to you, will she get a promotion or not? Opening the chat again. Yeah, that's also important to be a team player. Yeah. So considering these conditions, how do you think? Will she get a promotion or not? Yes, that's correct. Yes, yeah, I totally agree. She should always allocate some time for brainstorming, for critical thinking, and always listen to the team. Yes, that's a very, very valid point. There is no guarantee that solutions will be productive in the long term. Yes. Yes, agree. PR is important. PR is important considering that she is competent. Otherwise, she will just get promotion and then she will fail, and it's going to be someone's headache big headache in the future. I should actually put my name instead of Anna because that's my life story, but I didn't. I decided Anna to play this role for me. So let me give you my answer to this. Most probably no, because when you are responsible for a big project, transferable skills become a vital part of your success. If you prioritize and delegate tasks, given more time for critical thinking, for analyzing and brainstorming, Anna would prevent many issues from reoccurring, many issues from happening for the first time. And management ultimately will not consider her candidacy for promotion because within the Anna skill set, this is the maximum she can deliver. So this was actually partially, it was my case because when I was a project engineer for one of the clients, I was really jumping from one project to another, trying to help as much people as possible, trying to, I truly believed in multitasking and multi-skilling. But guys, multi-skilling and multitasking is multi-failing, believe me. You cannot do the things at the same time. You need to concentrate on one thing to be able to deliver it at the highest quality and within the specific timeline. So, and one more thing that I'd like to mention is about the prioritization. If you Google, you will find a lot of tools like matrices that will allow you to understand what is important, what is not. So I will just say a couple words about I would say even easiest and let's say the most used matrix. It's called 2x2 matrix or Eisenhower matrix, where you split all the tasks into 4 windows based on the urgency and based on the severity or criticality. Criticality, did I use this word right? I'm not sure. So if you split the tasks into 4 windows, you will have 4 cases. First are urgent and crucial. So if you don't do these tasks like now, something bad will happen. This is a not ideal part of your job. Not like job, it's not an ideal scenario. It's emergencies. It's something not welcome to happen. It shouldn't be like your routine working day or routine working months, like it was in my case. Sometimes, yes, you can handle these tasks, but you know that it's exhausting. Your resources will be, how to say, you will be exhausted in a very short time and you will fail at some other tasks, which is also not welcomed, neither by you nor by your management and team. The most welcomed option is the tasks that are crucial and can be done later. So you can focus on them, but you don't need to be in a hurry. You can be, let's say, relaxed and concentrated, and you can work on them, complete, and then succeed. Tasks that are not crucial, but they should be done now, if you can, you should delegate them. If not, better to revise and ask yourself again, do you actually need to do this now if it's not crucial? And for sure, tasks that are not crucial and can be done later, just think a little bit if you really need to do this task. If you don't need, just eliminate them. These are your time wasters. So, summary. Let's summarize what we have talked about today. First is transferable skills. They are applicable everywhere, no matter are you a designer. So I started as an engineer. Before that, I was a geoscience student. Now I'm a freelancer. I use these skills every day, everywhere. The key is to find the skills you are strong in and concentrate on their further growth and development. That will allow you to become the best version of yourself and succeed ultimately. Start practicing now. Don't wait till you get a job. Don't wait till you become a manager, because these skills used to be called the managerial skills. And some people, they really think that we are just executors, we don't need this. That's not correct. It's part of your workload. If you want to organize it well, if you want to deal with it well, you should always think about that. And don't forget about balance. That's more, let's say, a global thought, more philosophical, but you should always remember that you should be in a balance. If you're working hard today, it means that you need to, I don't know, maybe play hard, have some additional rest tomorrow. Believe me, especially in industries, especially in oil fields, you should always think about balance. Don't forget. And the last one, useful links. For those who are wondering about their strengths and weaknesses, there is a very good test, MBTI test, to understand your personality type. I just put a link here, so I will distribute the presentation with you. You can check the link and get your personality type. Just for example, I will show you mine. I am a commander, turbulent commander, and my happiness lies in the joy of achievement. So you will see, you will have, after you pass the test, you will have full description of your strengths, weaknesses, and applications, let's say. One more thing I'd like to mention is it's not only about tests. You should always ask yourself, you should always, I don't know, analyze yourself, ask for feedback, ask your colleagues, friends, maybe parents, people that know you very well. Sometimes it's hard because, you know, giving feedback and receiving feedback, it's an art, it's a science. Take it serious. Also, I put some information about transferable skills because I was not actually planning in this webinar to provide you, let's say, huge amount of information. I just wanted to share my experience and my vision of this. But you should always use your Google, your computers to seek for more information, and this site will provide you really good idea about which skills you need to succeed. And for sure, my contacts in social media if you'd like to ask some more questions or I don't know. So that's all from my side. Let's allocate some time for the questions. If you have any, please ask. I will be glad to answer.
Lala, hi again. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so probably I'm gonna ask one question. That's kind of tricky probably for some students to hear that, but let's think about what is the most difficult part for students and what are the biggest mistakes students and young professionals do when they join these major, bigger companies and start to do as much as they can.
Well, I think I already mentioned. So first of all, it depends. It depends on the company. Yes, in companies like Schlumberger, I saw also a question from Narmina. No, it's not a question. Okay, it's a comment. I will comment on it soon. Guys, in Schlumberger, when you join as trainee, depends on the position, engineer, specialist, or technician. You have a special program. It's called Fixed Step Program, which is actually aimed to bring you to a standalone position in the shortest time. So you should always be let's say, oriented to this program. Ask your manager, ask your mentor, you will be assigned a mentor, and try to, yes, it's a good initiative to try to learn as much as possible when you are training. But when you are growing up, you understand that amount of work and amount of problems, it's never ending. Every time there will be something happening, and management will not, some manager, it depends for sure, it depends on people, but some managers, they will just come and tell, like, it's your project, how did you allow this to happen? And you will start feeling guilty, like, oh, I'm not doing something enough. So just at the beginning, do the best you can, but don't forget about balance, don't forget about rest, because, you know, sometimes you can do a mistake just because you were tired. And in the industry, when you're working on the rig, it's also about safety. So if you just Google about the fatigue based mistakes and incidents, you will be amazed by how big this factor contributes to the incidents. So my personal recommendation, do your best, but don't forget about yourself. And don't forget about your values. So when you just join the company, you want to grow, right? When you want to grow, you are coming to people and telling, like, please explain me something, teach me, I would like to grow. And not all the people will teach you the right things. So please use your brain as well, use critical thinking, use all the skills that I mentioned before in order to grow as a specialist, not just, you know, doing the things as an ordinary one. I think I've covered the answer to this question.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, when you mentioned that, I remember that when I just first joined the company, I was asking my manager to give me a lot of different tasks. And he like looked at me and said, if you have nothing to do, just don't do anything, just go home and relax. I said, why? But I have a lot of free time. And he said, like, no, my dear, just relax now, because the more you grow, the more tasks you're gonna have. And that's actually true. However,
I wish I would have managers like yours.
Yeah, probably I'm kind of lucky. But again, I saw different managers with different approaches. That really matters, what kind of manager you have, what kind of leader you have, by the way, not just manager. But yes. I think from my perspective, since I work with students a lot, I see that the main problem, they don't know about the industry at all. They know that, oh, I'm going to be a drilling engineer, but they know nothing about the structures of company, the challenges they're going to have. And when you said about the fatigue, I believe that young generation, when they are happy that they were hired by big company, they start to say that that's not going to happen with me.
Yes.
I'm not will have fatigue or anything. It's like when I was asked during my recruiting, do you know what you're going to do? Do you know that probably you will need to spend lots of times without sleep, monitoring the data, going somewhere, meeting? I said, yes, I know, but actually I didn't.
Yes.
That's completely different story.
We all are ambitious, high energy level. We all want to be the best. But guys, remember, people make mistakes, especially in the beginning. The only one who doesn't make a mistake is the one that have never tried anything new in their life. Okay, I have one more question. Are women discriminated in the industry? Well, I personally was never discriminated because I'm a woman. Because Schlumberger has a very strict policy regarding women, and you can always, I don't know, report if you see something suspicious or if you feel yourself uncomfortable. But honestly, I've been working in Russia, I've been working in Azerbaijan with SOCAR, with Rosneft, with BP, Exxon. I mean, very, let's say, diverse environment. And people always treated me for my competency skills, not for my gender. So guys, if you know your work, if you know your job, and you can deliver it to the client so the client is happy, nobody will discriminate you for that. I think I answered comprehensively to this question. And also the comment from Narmina, you're a junior drilling engineer. Welcome. And every now and then also, I feel like Anna mentioned in your presentation, believe me, all of us have been Annas in the beginning when we are trainees. That's normal. It's okay. Just think about, always keep a focus on your future. I mean, always ask yourself, like, where do I see myself in 5 years, in 10 years? For sure, you will not be able to answer precisely. And for sure, your answer today doesn't mean that it's going to happen tomorrow. But at least you will not lose your personal direction, because people around you, they care about themselves. You should care about yourself and do it consciously, okay? Any more questions? Welcome. I'm just curious how students feel now, considering what's happening in the industry and in the world. How do you feel about your future in the petroleum industry?
I think even professionals feel insecure in current situation. I'm not talking about students. They are afraid of everything that happens, because the main thing they are looking for is the job, which we don't have currently.
Yes, correct. I also don't have a job currently. I mean, I'm self-employed, let's say.
But by the way, when you compare the way how you worked for big boss, let's say like that, for big company, and when you work for your own, like a freelancer, what are the main differences, pros and cons in both cases?
For me, I chose myself to work for myself because I see the perspective, I understand my potential, and I don't want people that, you know, in a very big industry, you will always have more than 1 or 2 bosses. You will have at least 4 or 5, and each of them will have their own perspective, and you know, they are people. They have their own features. Some of them you will have very good relationships. Some of them you will have total misunderstandings, and it will be very hard and challenging to work in such an environment. So when you are young and you still didn't define what you're gonna do, it's better to be guided by someone. For example, a leadership program in petroleum industry, like in Schlumberger, it's fixed step program, MVPs, challenger program. In other industries, for example, in Mars or I don't know, some Nestle companies, they also have their own leadership program. So they will guide you, they will assign a mentor to you, you will grow to a certain point. But then at a certain level, you will understand that, okay, now my values and values of people surrounding me, they don't match. People want me to do the things that I don't want to do. And I don't think that will contribute to my further development as a professional. At this point, you start asking yourself, like, am I gonna continue my career within this company, or I'm gonna choose something else? So I personally chose to invest now in my education and in my freelance projects for now. But in the future, probably I will start in another company, but it will be like industry change. So pros for beginners, you will be guided in the industry. Cons, when you grow to a certain level, sometimes people will just tell you what to do and tell you like don't teach me what to do. It depends on the environment. And you will just stop at some point and do some routine work, like monkey job, and that's it. Pros for working for yourself, you are totally managing your time. I mean, if you know how to use this tool, like time management, prioritization, and other stuff, you can organize yourself and you can learn what you really like to do, not what people are expecting you to do. And then, of course, you can deliver this to the other people, to clients, and earn money, and I don't know, be self-realized as a professional and be successful. Cons, when you are working for yourself, means you don't receive a constant salary. You always look for the clients. Sometimes you can, I don't know, maybe sit for months or 2 months without a salary. So you should control your finances. But believe me, guys, it will discipline you much better than being relaxed in some companies. So it depends. It's very individual. My conscious choice now is to work for myself and invest in my education. That's it. Okay, one more comment. I'm nervous. Job opportunities may open to more experienced people. It depends. It depends. Kind of worried about the outcome of scenarios that will affect the workforce in the field. For sure, now there will be always, a flow. Some people will leave, the vacancies will open, and you just need to invest in yourself to be able to grow and gain that competency skills that employers are looking for. So at the point when when they need a specialist, you will be ready and you will be right there, come to an interview, pass it successfully, and receive your job offer. But always, guys, consider like multiple plans. Yeah, that's an obvious advice, but from my own experience, when I was in a 4th grade, I already had a job. I was working in Solkar Fulgro as an assistant. I was applying for an MBA, for master degree. And at the same time, I was waiting for an offer from Schlumberger, but I was not counting too much on that because I understood the situation in the industry. I realized that, okay, maybe they will hire me, maybe they will not, but at least I have some other options. Always think about plan B, C, D, and all the alphabet. Any more questions? Welcome. My pleasure.
So thank you, Lala. It was very beneficial, especially considering the today's situations of industry. Like it was mentioned in comments, many students are now concerned about situations. They are all looking for the jobs and they're demotivated. And considering this fact, these transferable skills are important in everyday life.
They will always be important, guys. That's not the first time the crisis happens. It's a cycle. You are young now, I'm young. We will probably, that's not our first, that's our first crisis, but that's not our last crisis. Yes. So just, I don't know, invest in yourself. That's all. I know I'm constantly repeating it, but that's important.
Actually, it's already the second crisis I remember. The first crisis I remember was in 2015. I joined in 2014, and the beginning of 2014, it was a disaster. It's like you come to job and someone is fired. Just someone is fired, and you always feel stressful about that. So this time, let's see how it goes. But you have to be prepared.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Especially now, when companies are switching in energies. So the more companies are investing in alternative sources of energies.
Yeah, guys, and it's always gonna be like that. Like even if you start as an engineer, for example, in Schlumberger, when you defend your, when you complete a leadership program, you can choose the track. Like for example, you can go to marketing, to sales, operations, planning, and all of these divisions are different. you always have to study something new, keep yourself up to date. So that's why I actually chose the transferable skills topic, because they will always be actual on a trend, let's say. Regardless of are you on the starting position, or you are a manager, or maybe, I don't know, some big boss, entrepreneur, it will always be important. So that's it.
So thank you, Lala. If we don't have any questions, so I think that we can end this session.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time again.
Yeah, thank you for you and your interesting presentation. Yes, so bye.
Bye.